Welcome to Realtree Global Hunting. This week I'm hunting wild boar in Hungary. Now I've spent plenty of time hunting in Hungary over the past few years with my good friends at Wonderhut, and I've taken loads of wild boar. We stalked in close to some pretty big porkers, then taken them with the rifle, a bow, and even an air rifle. I love my pig hunting, and there's nowhere better to do it than Hungary. We're out trekking in the forests nice and early this morning. As usual, I'm with pig hunting legend Zoltan Ola, and he's told me this forest is full of some pretty big pigs. He knows this place like the back of his hand, and during the day, there's wild boar bedded down everywhere. We head out on foot, and I'm hoping to get up close and personal with some of Hungary's biggest wild boar today. In order to do so, myself and Zoltan head out head to toe in Realtree AP. In the dry autumn forest surrounded by fallen leaves and bare trees, Realtree AP is a perfect camo pattern. A mixture of browns, shadows and branches will break up your outline against this sparsely vegetated backdrop. With this forest being so dense, we should stay hidden, and that will give us the best chance of stalking up close to a boar. As long as we're fleet of foot, of course. The sun still hasn't fully risen in the forest when we spot two boar tucked up asleep next to each other. With their dark brown coats and then bedded in the fallen leaves, they're almost completely blended into the scenery. It takes a keen eye to spot them before you stumble into them and push them on, but I've got Zoltan and he knows his pig hunting. I get them in my sights, but there's too many branches between me and them. I can't take the chance of a bullet ricocheting off the foliage and injuring a pig. We move in closer to the pair, but we've been spotted. They stand and I line them up, but before I have a shot, they're off. We move through the forest. A little further along, there's another sleeping boar tucked up in the dry autumn leaves. Myself and Zoltan creep as quietly as possible into a position where we can see him a little bit better. This one looks a little younger than we were after, but we still stalk in to take a closer look. He looks sound asleep.
You see the defence is to lie motionless and hidden. Now he's awake and he's aware of our presence. He's hoping that we pass him by.
And then he's heading for the hills.
We got pretty close. I think Zoltan was about 25 yards away. We just need to make sure they're mature enough pigs before we shoot them. He's probably only a couple of years old, pretty small in the tusk. Nice decent size in the body though. Beautiful coat on him, his winter coat is really nice. Some tan in the back and then some grey at the front. But there's better ones out there, so we're going to head on.
These pigs just don't hang around. If they hear something or see something out of place, they just bolt. Hopefully we won't be seeing too much of this today. We spot a third pig on the crest of the hill amongst the brush just ahead of us, and again we're stalking in close. Coming in from behind him means he can't see us, even though these boars are bedded down and possibly even asleep, they're still alert. As we get in closer, his ears are pricking up and he looks a little on edge. Then he heads for the hills.
So it's difficult to be fleet of foot when you're in all these dry leaves here. Lots of twigs to snap, lots of leaves to rustle, but luckily there's just a little bit of wind up there in the canopy. Just helps mask that sound a little bit. Anyway, so we managed to come round and we needed to make sure that it was a big pig as it happens. He was a monster, but unfortunately 18 yards was just a little bit too close. I could see his ears start to move, I could see his head start to move, and you know that they're onto you. Now the wind is in our favour, it's coming in our face. But I think just a bit of vibration on the ground, he can feel it right underneath, and once he's awake, they're alert. So, we're getting closer and closer, and to be honest with you, I don't care if I don't shoot one now. Getting this close to pigs in their own environment is extremely exciting. Onwards and upwards.
We were pretty close that time, and even though we didn't get our pig, myself and Zoltan still appreciate it was a good stalk. This is why we both love pig hunting, getting up close and personal with a beautiful animal in its natural environment. The next beautiful animal we come across isn't of the porky kind.
So as you can see there, there's a young fallow buck just lying down in the leaves there. It's about 100 metres from us. We've seen plenty of does running around. It's after the rut now, so they're not going to be chasing tail anymore. What they're going to be doing is resting up, getting ready for the winter.
We get pretty close to this beautiful buck, but he's onto us, and he's not happy. He stands looking straight at us, but doesn't make a run for it. The Realtree AP is breaking up our outline against the woods, and although he knows something is there, he can't see quite what it is. He decides he's had enough, and he's not taking any chances. He bounces off into the forest. Realtree AP is doing its job perfectly. The buck wasn't spooked and didn't run into the distance, breaking the silence and frightening off all the boar. Instead, it just pronked on its way as normal, and all remains calm. We head on. It isn't long before we find another boar bedded down in the leaves ahead of us. I grab my rifle and we move in closer. His head is up and he knows something isn't right, but he isn't running. He moves his head around and his eyes twitch. He hangs on for just too long for his own good. It's a good shot, but still he's made a run for it.
Okay, so that was pretty intense. We started being a baby. Let me just range that. 28 yards away from a monstrous pig. Now I've hit him hard, straight in the front shoulder, quartering onto me. So we know we've got him in the vitals. He's run on, he was pumped, he was looking straight at us. This is exactly the sort of pig we were looking for. Something big in the body, something with nice tusks, in great condition. So all we've got to do now is head for the hills, go and have a look at the blood trail, and then follow him up. Textbook stalk, textbook shot, phenomenal performance from the Leica, phenomenal performance from the Helix. This is what wild boar hunting is all about.
We look for a blood trail and pick up the direction of the pig. I know he couldn't have gone far.
So as you can see, there's an awful lot of blood here. That shot, he was quartering on. Chances are I hit him just in front of the front leg. But there's a fantastic blood trail, he's not going to go far.
There he is, out for the count. We take the usual precautions to make sure he's done, and both myself and Zoltan are delighted. Now this is a pig. Holy cow.
So this fella here has to be the biggest tusk pig I've ever taken. This thing is absolutely phenomenal. Big in the body, well, he's actually well proportioned, nice beautiful winter coat, lovely blonde bristles on his face there. Now we saw a wallow up there as we were walking in, so we knew that there was something big that had been lying in the wallow. It looks like it was this fella here. Now he must have got up, had a bit of a walk round, and unfortunately bumped into us. But I'd like to see where we shot him. He didn't get far, maybe 70 yards, quartering onto me, put the crosshairs on the front shoulder, and he saw a huge cloud of dust come off him, and he left an absolutely phenomenal blood trail, and it's still absolutely everywhere. We knew it was picking up. There was more and more blood the closer we got to the animal itself, so phenomenal performance from the Merkel RX Helix and Leica 1.5 to 10 by 42 Magnus. Put the Lapua 185 grain 30-06 round exactly where it needed to be, and here is a result. A magnificent trophy wild boar. So as you can see, it's placed that bullet exactly where I wanted it, smack in the front of the shoulder. It would have gone through all the vitals. It didn't exit by the looks of it, but that hole on the way in was enough to leave that phenomenal blood trail just there. In addition to that, I'd imagine the damage inside, the trauma, is pretty significant. He didn't make it very far at all, even though there was no exit wound.
I've taken another beautiful Hungarian wild boar, and we partake in the customary local traditions.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Gratulate.
Thank you, Zoltan. It was an honour. It's a beautiful pig.
Then it's time to get that huge pig out of the forest. We call in some help from Tamas and it takes 3 of us to get him up the hill and back towards the truck. To build your own wild boar hunting adventure of a lifetime, visit wanderheart.co.uk. Tune in next week to Realtree's Global Hunting when I'll be hunting muntjac in the UK with Service UK. Subscribe to Team Wild TV for the best international hunting videos on YouTube as we stalk across the planet taking all manner of game in Realtree Global Hunting.